Okay, so we have that brand awareness ad set up to the nearest city, targeting sort of like those day trippers or the overnight stays. And now we want to set up an ad to people already in the destination. And this might be one of the most underutilized ads by tourism operators, restaurants, wineries, anybody basically, even retail in the operating in tourism. It's one of the most underutilized ads, and it's so simple to get set up. So let's jump in and do that. And before we do anything, I'm going to come into PowerPoint and just remind myself what the campaign was. It's a consideration campaign. We want clicks, so it's traffic. Who the audience was, it was visitors to the region. We were just going to choose food and wine. You'll find that naturally this audience size is quite small because it's only targeting people that are not from here, that are in your destination at the moment. So it's going to be a transient audience that's changing regularly as they come and go, but it's always going to be a small audience. So we don't really need to lay too many qualifiers of interests and other demographics in there. And finally, these were some of the messages that we wanted to use. So we're going to jump across into Facebook now, not waste any time, and we're going to set up a new campaign, ad set and add to those mentioned specs. So it's a traffic campaign. Let's go traffic. Do you know what? There's absolutely no reason why we can't use the one that we just set up. So traffic getting going again 2020. Because it's sharing the same campaign objective, which is to drive traffic to the site. So let's just do that. But this audience is not locals, it's visitors. Visitors. I'm going to use that. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm not going to use the one that I'm going to set up a completely new one. Visitors to the region, so you can watch. So visitors to the region, we're going to call this audience. Facebook calls it an ad set. And down here, I'm going to skip that. And here's the kicker. So don't leave it on people living or recently in this destination. Choose people traveling in this location. Get rid of that. We want to go, let's go Geelong. So it just comes into, it actually zooms that map in. And let's go, that's actually pretty good. We could probably shrink that down a bit. Like if I close that now, at least now it's targeting in there. I'm just going to choose, if you picture in your mind's eye, you want to sort of get this area here. So you're aiming to drop this pin about in the center of that. So I'm going to put it there. Click that, expand it out a bit. Don't want to go too far out in this direction, certainly not sort of beyond Torquay and stuff. If you're not familiar with this area, that's probably not really going to mean much, but basically you're aiming for about that sort of like, 20 to 40 kilometers of your store or of your, the destination of your product or service. Drop a pin there. We can leave the age at 18 to 65. As I said, you can already see this is, compared to our previous audience for brand awareness, this is tiny. So potential reach is 4,900 people. That's obviously going to increase as people start moving about a bit more. Potential reach is that, and landing page views or traffic to the site, really clicks, is 3 to 15. So you don't really need to lay too many interests on top of this. Oops, I don't want to do that. I want to go into detailed targeting. I'm just going to go food and wine again, which will cut it down, but shouldn't cut it down too much. It's I said fewer than 1,000 people. Let's add some others. Food and wine on its own. Foodie, is there such a thing as a foodie? Yep, cool. Foodie. Okay, cool. We're back up to 3,500 people, which is not a bad audience size for this type of like really niche audience. And like I said, that's a transient audience, so that's going to come and go. But during the week it's going to be less. On the weekends it's going to be more. The people that you're advertising are going to be coming and going. Just make sure here you've chosen people traveling in this location. So we've named this visitors to the region. That's our ad set. Come down here. We're going to set a budget like we did on the last one. I'm going to have that at about 5 landing page views, which is just click through. That's fine. I'm going to set a start and end date like I did on the last one. I'm going to set it for a month. And I'm going to continue on to the ad copy. So this is our ad copy. So bearing in mind, this is visitors visiting the region. So you want to be thinking of copy that's relevant to somebody that's sitting in a hotel room, or like in their Airbnb or something, in your destination for a few days. Not the people that are sitting in their home at that city that you've chosen, that nearby city. So let's go discover world-class wineries of the region. Let's put that tour the world-class wineries. Tour world-class wineries nearby. I'm going to say leave the car at home and leave the car at home and tour the region like a local. Sorry about that. I could have gone a little bit faster on that. Add media. I'm going to go add image, and it might be an image of a couple, for example, this time. Something like that or like that. Let's do a couple of images. Cool. So those couple of images are just going to act as variants. So one of two ads. So there's going to be two ads. So we're going to get to find out which image works best with that copy. Now we're going to just change that to tour options. Actually, no, let's leave it as the homepage URL because we want them to get some of that, have a look at some of the reviews and possibly find some of those things. The description, we might go for, let's go, actually, you know what would be really good? Pick up from anywhere on the Bellarine. That's really good. Don't mind my mug being recorded there. So I'm coming back into ads, description, pick up anywhere on the Bellarine. I'm going to swap that with that. And now I'll tell you why I've done that. It's because on mobile, people see that and they don't see that. On desktop, they're going to see that. They're going to see that, and they're not. And I've just thought most people, if they're visiting the region, are not going to be on desktop. So let's not worry about the description. Let's just have it like that. So pick up from anywhere on the Geelong and Bellarine, leave the car at home, and tour the region like a local. I love it. Cool. So we've got our variants. We could change the display link. That is winery tours. If you were sending that, say, let's say you're using Resdy for booking and you want to send them to your Resdy page, you might have geelongwinerytours.resdy.com.au or whatever. That'll be the website URL, but you might actually want the display URL to be geelongwinerytours.com.au and not the Resdy one. That's why that exists, just in case you want to change that. You can see there. Yep. So just to shorten that URL or make it more relevant, and I guess trustworthy. So there we go. We've got our ad, which is going to run two variants, and we're pretty happy with that. We've set our budget. We've set our audience up here, and just got to lock it in a third time. Make sure you choose visiting or like traveling through your area. That's what you want. I'm going to hit confirm. And now that should be all fine, and it should redirect, it should publish up top right hand corner, you can see that. And there it is. We've got it getting it going again. I don't know why it's set up that, there we go. I'm going to just hit refresh. Well, that's wonderful. It's obviously just duplicated that. To avoid that, So to avoid that, what you could have done is actually clicked into the campaign and gone create, and then that would have created that that audience and the ad inside the campaign, rather than what I just stupidly did, which was create a new campaign that's named exactly the same. So I'm going to click inside that just to double check Geelong and Melbourne. That's the original one. This is the visitors to the region. So I'm going to go, and I'm just going to rename this to, where am I going? Traffic, getting going again, visitors. So at least, so you can see that it happens to the best of us as well. Silly mistakes in Facebook. But at least now we know the difference between, this is our brand awareness, like that's our Melbourne, more like wider brand awareness type thing. And this is our visitors to the region one. So all set up and ready to go. These are our two ads. I shouldn't have done that. I should have actually named that something that made a bit more sense. And what did we call it? Discover the world-class wineries. Pick up from anywhere. You can name it anything like that. Let's go. And I'm going to name that the same, so I'm not confused about that they are related. So then I remember that they're related. Cool. So in the back here in Ads Manager, we've got our campaigns. We've got those two that we've set up. I'm going to remove the filter here. You can see here, these are blue, they're running. These are all turned off. So these are the ones that we've set up today. And here are the ads that we've set up today. If I remove that filter, we'll be able to see. These are the 3 ads that we've set up today, green, green, and green. So that's how you get, actually, before we go, hold that thought. See that up there, review and publish. There's obviously a change or something I've made along the way. It hasn't published properly. If you see that, just hit the button, make sure that it is published, because you want your ads running. And from here, one thing to note, if you jump into that Facebook Ads for Beginners course, you'll be able to have a look at how to review some of the data. I do so about 2 days in. So it's really cool to see real data and how to turn ads on and off and edit your budget and stuff like that. You can jump in and see that in that other course. This was simply to get you up and running with 4 or 5 ads across both platforms, being Google and Facebook, and hopefully understanding the difference between the two, search ads and social ads.